today, the DOH is confirming that a 38-year-old female Chinese patient under investigation, or PUI, is positive for the novel coronavirus 2019-nCoV.
January 30 of this year, the first case of novel coronavirus in the Philippines was confirmed. Following a spike in new confirmed cases and local transmissions, the Philippine government declared a state of public health emergency on March 9. As a proactive measure to safeguard public health and safety, Governor GYVBE immediately declared a province-wide state of calamity on March 11, after the legislative body passed a resolution declaring such in the whole of Misamis Oriental. The governor urged the local government units to render full assistance and cooperation to mobilize resources for disaster response and measures. On March 17, Governor GYVBE released 1 million pesos cash to Northern Mindanao Medical Center for the acquisition of medical equipments and protective gears for health workers. He also offered the free use of 2 coasters for NMMC doctors and nurses. As to the provincial capital employees, Governor GYVBE ordered the immediate release of the 6,000 pesos clothing allowance for them to use at home. Who received the amount immediately bought food for the family.
Tapos dako kay pasalamat ma'am kay nakapalit pud mig tambal adto sa akong mga anak sa akong pag-umangkon. Murag dako gid kay siyang tabang ang 6,000 nga nahatag ni Gob nga clothing allowance.
Since then, the provincial government through the Provincial Interagency Task Force on COVID-19, headed by the Provincial Health Office, held series of meetings with different agencies such as the PNP, AFP, DILG, municipal mayors, DOH, and NEDA to discuss preventive measures to stop the entry of virus in the province. On March 30, the virtual flag-raising ceremony at the provincial capital has been implemented. Through the use of the free application called Zoom, capital employees together with their department heads stayed in their own office and participated in the ceremony. Video conferencing with the members of the Misamis Oriental Department Heads Association, or MODA, was also in place. This, according to Governor Imano, is the most effective way to practice social distancing in the light of COVID-19. On the same day, a whole-body sanitation tent was installed in front of the Capitol building. All employees and visitors were required to pass through the tent to disinfect themselves before they could enter the main building. The governor also instructed the Provincial Agriculture Office to distribute vegetable seeds to households in Misamis Oriental and encourage them to do backyard gardening. He wants to ensure food availability and sustain the production even beyond the general community quarantine period in the province.
Gob, salamat kay Gob nga nakadawat ko sa imong pangatag nga seeds. Kay makakaon na gid akong pamilya. Wala ta kabalo nga kalos mao man ning COVID-19 ug daghang kayong salamat Gob sa imong bini nga imong gihatag.
Oliver is more than grateful to have received such help from the provincial government. He considered the governor a blessing to their family. On April 2, Thursday, the 58th Infantry Battalion of the Philippine Army personally delivered this prototype decontamination booth to the provincial capital. Governor GYVBE funded this 3-in-1 booth that will be installed in 4 major checkpoints in Misamis Oriental. Those frontliners passing through these checkpoints are advised to sanitize themselves before going home to their families. And just last week, Governor GYVBE amended Section 1, Number 3 of Executive Order GYVBE 2020-008, stating that wearing of mask, including homemade or improvised, is mandatory in all public places, including privately owned food establishments and drugstores. This means that anyone caught not wearing face mask will be confronted and will not be allowed entry in these establishments. In relation to this, the governor asked a few creative members from the Early Care Child and Development Office, as well as Misamis Oriental Youth and Development Office, to help mass-produce a do-it-yourself face shields to be distributed to frontliners in the province. They aim to produce at least 1,700 as an answer to the call of several healthcare providers for the lack of personal protective equipment. On April 6, the provincial government released the honorarium of the barangay population officers who played a big role in combating COVID-19. Each worker received 1,000 pesos honorarium and meal allowance from the government. And just last week, the Northern Mindanao Medical Center received a Resvent turbine ventilator worth 1.8 million pesos coursed through Governor GYVBE last April 6. The said equipment was donated by Luciutan Group of Companies, Philip Morris Fortune Tobacco Corporation Incorporated, and Jaime V. Ong Pin Foundation Incorporated. They also received 150 boxes of ethyl alcohol to be given to frontliners. According to NMMC Chief of Hospital Dr. Jose Chan, the ventilator will help treat patients with severe acute respiratory illness.
Ang ventilator, gamito ni siya pagpatabang sa pasyente nga naglisod niya og ginhawa kung ma-admit sa hospital kung medyo grabe-grabe ang iyang pneumonia or ang iyang paglisod sa paginhawa, kinahanglan siya mag-ventilator.
And last April 8, the Misamis Oriental Provincial Jail launched the e-Dalaw for persons deprived of liberty. Governor GYVBE initiated this virtual visitation to protect inmates from being contaminated by COVID-19. The Department of Information and Communication Technology donated 2 computer sets to the provincial government using the internet connection from SMART. The internet provider said that Misamis Oriental is the first LGU to have implemented e-Dalaw. In fact, they offered to replicate the same concept to other provinces in the entire country. They guaranteed to acknowledge the province of Misamis Oriental being the pioneer LGU to have done this virtual concept. The inmates felt relieved. Rosita said she can now see and talk to her daughter and grandchildren after months of not seeing them in person.
Ako kami kalipay nga na gibutang diri. Bisan dili sila ka dalaw. Maka-istorya lagi ako. Ay lang. Salamat kung dako. Ayo alimam nga ay gibutang diri nga among malipay gid bisan tanan ani dili na lang ako hasta pang uban. Mga kakita mi akong anak. Maka-istorya po. Dako kay kong pasalamat ani ang ngayon ani ang iyang tanaw sa amo ang ili kay sa ako ra ug sa uban pula mo kauban.
Meanwhile, the police provincial office said that the celebration of the Holy Week was a success. People just stayed at home and watched the Holy Mass via live stream. Public beaches and private resorts were empty from people. No one also visited the pilgrim site since the government ordered its temporary closure. This, according to Police Lieutenant Colonel Robert Roy Bahian, is a clear manifestation that the public fully understands the effect of the pandemic in the province. As of Saturday, April 11, the Department of Health has recorded 233 new cases of the coronavirus disease, bringing a total of 4,428 cases nationwide, with 247 fatalities and 157 people recovering. The governor is happy that up until today, the Provincial Health Office has not recorded any positive case in the province.
Obviously, people are struggling with the effects of COVID-19, but one thing is for sure, this has nothing to do with the country. It has something to do with managing a dilemma that the government and the communities are doing right now. As what the governor said, there's always a reason to stay positive in every crisis situation. Jinky Rosit, PIO.